Good afternoon, everyone. It is the 24th of October, 2019. This is the Bull Market Watch, and here we are looking at the top 7 coins traded on BitMEX. And at the end of the episode, we go over some details in our Bull Market Watch spreadsheet to give us some better ideas about what is coming up in the altcoin bull market to come. Over the last little while, we've been watching the relative strength index here on the 12-hour time frame, waiting for this to break higher. Finally, we got it as we had our 1, 2, 3 formation breaking out here. It's looking really good. It looks like it's going to be continuing up considerably higher. Now that we're poking above this 200 period moving average, it's really looking bullish. But even still, there's always a chance of a super big dump, so always start off small and add on to it when you're correct. Give yourself that time. Here we're starting to see some of the on-balance volume picking up on this time frame. That is really very good verification of the bullishness of this, that we're seeing the volume coming in. So this chart is crazy for me. When I look at the 12-hour MACD and I see this cross to the positive, while we have all of these formations going on, it's a no-brainer, really. It's a crazy formation for us to finally be seeing all of this shaping up. And it's not something you want to ignore and think maybe it'll, this is the opportunities that we've been looking for. And when we see the Ichimoku cloud starting to twist to the positive here out of this incredible bottom formation, it's insane. It just adds more verification to, well, except we've got a twist to the negative there. Coming up through that really adds on to it for me. Even with this twist to the negative, I'm certain in the next little while this will twist to the positive. So again, always start off small. There will be time later to add on to this trade without risk, if you are correct. Now in the Bollinger Bands, I'm just watching through this because I'm not really sure. But we did see the consolidation here along the 4-hour time, and then it broke past the midline. At the same time, I'm really trying to watch these 1, 2, 3 formations on the smaller time frame, and then step back a little bit to see as this 1, 2, 3 formation broke higher. This is the 4-hour time frame. Then it should be just crossing the mid-level on the 12-hour time frame. So then it's giving me something specific that I could say that was a really well-verified buy signal, because we had the on-balance volume, we had the RSI break, they had the MACD indicator going positive, and the Ichimoku cloud probably on the 4-hour time frame starting to look pretty good. So when we can put our 1, 2, 3 formations together with all of these indicators, we are kicking ass. The trouble is that the 1, 2, 3 formation, it's very cyclical. It takes a long time for these cycles to come up, and then you've got to be ready when it's ready. So this is a 1, 2, 3 formation that's breaking out. We saw this break the pattern here earlier, and it actually was an alert signal in our trading, pro trading alerts as well. Let's go into BCH and take a look at the volume coming out of here. It was kind of surprising to me. I wasn't expecting this much, but when it happens, you just got to act on it. So if we go on now to the MACD, now this crossed positive earlier for us, and we definitely used this for putting out the trading signal out of this tiny little 1, 2, 3 as we were breaking out. Your stops would have been a trouble on this. You'd have to give it a lot of room, or you've just got to get back in once you've got stopped out. Once you're seeing everything set up, there's always that possibility of a quick swing that might tap you out, but be risk adverse and get tapped out on those and reevaluate. There's time to make money later. Always save that risk. ABC is poking up through this Ichimoku cloud. It's got a twist to the positive. We've got the crossover here. We've got everything all positive. This is a very good verification for BCH. Really. Now the Bollinger Bands. So I want to see this 1, 2, 3, and on the 12-hour, then it crossed. Moving in, we've got a smaller 1, 2, 3, and same thing crossed, but this is more difficult for me in this time frame. It doesn't make it as easy with this swing for me to read what would have been the perfect time. But of course, many trades do not have a perfect entry. They don't cleanly just break out and go up after that. So the way you use the entry and that stage 2 of your trade when you're first starting out the position is really key. We've got a few things that we can help you with over on our website, IntroToCryptos.ca. Scroll to the bottom and get the free training to start off with. This I like because we were watching for this break of this setup the other day. And sure enough, it's come in. It's really not been happy for me, even though it's breaking out higher. We've got so much volatility that maybe a tiny position could have been working out. But now that it's coming up to these levels and breaking higher, we'll take a real good look at all of our indicators as this is playing out, because I want to record what the indicators are exactly telling us out of these huge 1, 2, 3 formations. This is the kind of stuff that is gold in your pocket when you have these patterns in mind and you can use them. So I'm just wanted to circle the volume coming out here. That's good. If we have supporting volume while we're kicking up these levels, even better. How about the MACD indicator is just crossing to the positive as well. So this is very much like ADA and super exciting. Super exciting. Going to EOS, it's not quite broken out on the Ichimoku cloud in the 12-hour time frame quite yet, but it's looking like it's going to right away. And if we put all of these things together and this pattern, that's juicy. Really, really nice. EOS, again, it's really hard to have traded this, even on the 4-hour time frame with the Bollinger Bands. That volatility really kicked out a lot of attempted trades, I guess. Let's see. Zoom out to the 12-hour, and it's not giving me the crossover right now. It was a little earlier as we were going through this, so it's still not a clear signal for me. Of course, it didn't give me a really nice clear 1, 2, 3 formation out of this either. It's more of a bowl shape. And so now, really ease in. And again, I'm going to wait for a bigger formation to complete. Let's go over to Ethereum, because for a long time here, Ethereum, we've been calling for this top formation, seeing this major divergence. Now we got a big oversold condition and it's pumped up. But it's sort of in that in-between phase that since everything else is going this may, but I don't know a trading signal out of this until it's breaking above these levels, like a new signal. We had our signal back here, and it's above our stop loss. Depending on how you used your stop, you could be in or out of this. So one way to use the stop is do not get out until the 12-hour EMA crosses over. The other way is to get out when the 4-hour EMA crosses over. And you can have different variations of that. I find it helpful. Now let's go into Ethereum for the volume. And that's not picked up to super good volume yet. So as it's breaking higher and we see this volume, then I would jump into it. But for now, it's sort of stand aside and look at the other markets that are looking better. One thing I do like here is on the 12-hour time frame, we've got a little cross to the positive in the MACD. If I zoom in on this, on the 4-hour time frame, it's easing off. It's not looking like it's jumping and widening up. So let's watch what's going on with Ethereum over the next few days. Ethereum hasn't come through the cloud yet, so we've got a little bit of work before this breaks through the cloud and gives us an additional buy signal on that. And I'm thinking that it will. Then Ethereum on the Bollinger Bands, look how it came back along these levels and it poked up. There's no 1, 2, 3 formation. There's nothing adding on to this that I could take a trade on that formation for my own part. I need to learn more about Bollinger Bands and actually do some research on it rather than just looking at it every day and seeing how it fits into my own thinking. Now, Litecoin, I like this divergence in the relative strength index, even though we've had a couple wicks down. Should this be starting to build above these levels, it's looking good. Let's go on to Litecoin in the volume because it's been pretty poor the last while, but this last little bit is showing some good volume on that. I like it. When we go into Litecoin in the MACD, this is more difficult because it's been crossing sideways and sideways, but any cross positive on this 12-hour time frame is important. Makes me want to go into the 4-hour time frame just to verify that it is crossing positive and flaring wider, which is good. And I would expect that to be flaring out into the 12-hour time frame, so we could watch this and we could see this start to flare out as the prices are going up. We'll see how that turns out. Now let's go on to the Ichimoku cloud for Litecoin, because it's been quite below the cloud and not giving us the buy signals yet. And really the cloud is going to make it, the cloud will make it work for a signal here. The cloud will make it wait to get past these levels, which is okay. You know, that would be some pretty good places to be starting out a position and then building on from that, according to the cloud. Let's go into Bollinger Bands for Litecoin. This is looking better. It's just crossing this midline on the 12-hour. And if we go into the 4-hour, it's already crossed the midline and showing strength. So this widening and that showing strength, that's really a good signal. I want to now go on to Tron and take a look at what's going on here. Very beautiful, nice breakout pattern. I am very excited about this. Again, this is exciting because we are identifying these exact spots, saying that if it breaks up as we're going out here, there's a buy signal. Boom, done it. Great stuff. TRX volume also supporting it. Really great. I think this is going to be crazy. Let's go on now and see what the MACD is also crossing positive on the 12-hour. This is important because normally we'll zoom into the 4-hour and look for crossovers there, but this has got a double cross and flaring wide as we're taking off. Crazy buy signals setting up here. This is rare that we can go through this and just see buy signal, buy signal, buy signal everywhere all the way across here. Look at that. This is classic, beautiful. Let's go into TRX. Wow, just 1, 2, 3 hits off this bottom, and as it crossed this middle, there's no question on that for the 4-hour time frame. That's beautiful. It's easy to see in hindsight, of course, but even on the 12-hour, as that crossed, we are golden. I think this is going to flare wide and give us some real action. Now, let's get into Ripple, because yesterday I said, oh, Ripple's looking like a top formation. It's probably going to come back, but look at it, it's showing strength. It blew away this. It just kept going. So, okay. There it is. Let's go into the next view and see what the indicators are telling us, because it's not really giving us the big volume yet, but I'm super excited about this. That looks like it's going to be crazy moves in Ripple. The 12 hours crossed to the negative, and now it's coming up to cross to the positive again. So to have this and the 4-hour crossing positive and flaring wider as we're coming up to these levels is really good. I'd really want to pay attention to the 4-hour. If it is easing off from this top formation, we do have a divergence off this double top, then I want to know it. I want to know if it's easing off. Let me zoom in. I don't think so, though. Like, even on the 1-hour time frame, it's not crossing and easing off. So let's put that back and go on to the next indicator. Oh, just looking good. It didn't even come down to the cloud to bounce higher, but certainly breaks above that. I'm finally expecting some big wick candle. It should be giving us some big move. There should be shit happening here. This is a really beautiful formation. It could stand to come back to these levels. As I was saying yesterday, that would be a buy signal in the uptrend for the Ichimoku, but should it continue on, it looks great. How about the Bollinger Band? Now, this has stayed above the Bollinger Band midline all the way along here, so that is something new for me too, as it's coming back to the midline and jumping up. This has got to give us something. Actually, even though this has got to give us something in the Bollinger Bands to know what's going on with that. So if I zoom into the 4-hour, it crossed down, touched against these levels, and then started off at the same time that it came to the 12-hour, touched, and then went. So combining the 4 and the 12-hour together as we're in the uptrend and it's coming back to this midline is all of a sudden a whole new strategy that is juicy. I love it. I love it. Let's pay attention to that, because on the daily view time frame as well, we could mix the daily with the 4-hour. When the 4-hour is having those movements and coming straight across, this is good. Let's do more of that. So now let's finish up the episode by taking a look at the big four. We've got Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and Ripple. All of these looking like great bottom formations. I think Bitcoin's going to do some sideways action for a while, and these are going to be building. I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes. But here's Bitcoin dominance. We have come out of this top formation and we are dropping, which is a measure of the alts going up versus the price of Bitcoin. And you may say altcoin market cap isn't doing as well, but altcoin market cap is a measure of altcoins against US dollar. And the focus here is to measure altcoins against Bitcoin all the time. All the time. We are either holding Bitcoin and growing it by trading Bitcoin, or we are putting some of that Bitcoin into alts at the right time when the market is telling us to. Now, let me go into our bull market watch spreadsheet a little bit here and drag this down so that we can take a look to see what's going on, because we have a little bit increase in bearishness. The bullishness has pulled back, but the key thing to be seeing in this chart now is the yellow line picking back up again. So as the yellow line is picking up and the white line is dropping down, that's showing us that a bunch of neutral coins are picking up into alert status, and from alert status, they'll move into hold status. Alert status means it's almost breaking our 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. Like, be alert, it's going to be taking off. And once it's past the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, we put it into a hold status. So then we can filter down to know exactly which coins out of that Bitcoin dominance dropping, which are the coins that are taking off the most. We already have 31 coins out of Binance that are a hold status from earlier when the Bitcoin dominance was dropping, and they're in good profit, these coins. Now we have 16 more that are in alert status. Even though we had these ones that were in exit status today, I imagine that over the next few days, we're going to see many of those coins turning back into alerts and hold statuses. They've pulled back from an exit into a neutral stance right now, and this is really helping us build our portfolio. If you're interested in this, be sure to head over to IntroToCryptos.ca and check out the options for having access to this spreadsheet. It's phenomenal. There's nothing else out there like it. It's taken years to put this together so that we could have it available for you to log in and just grab this data. We update it for you every day. Nothing else like it. Let's go into Bitcoin price just to finish things off. Whoops. Oh yeah, look at that taking off. What were we just looking at? That was Ripple just taking off. So Bitcoin is interesting because we have a divergence that is pretty pronounced here in our relative strength index. Pretty interesting. Let's just take a quick scan and take a look at each of the indicators. So dumping, of course, with no surprise there. And if we go over and look at Bitcoin MACD on the 12-hour time frame, no surprise, it's crossed to the negative just as we were dumping there. And yet it's not really like flaring negative. Let's go into the 4-hour time frame and look at this is actually pulling itself to almost crossing positive. So we'll have to pay attention to that. I didn't look at this, but look at the divergence where we have pretty much flat, even down, and this is still higher. So should this cross to the top side, I'll bet you we're just getting a fake out bullshit breakdown here, and it's going to go higher and screw a whole bunch of people that are really bearish. I don't know, of course. Let's watch it over time and see what does unfold rather. Well, the Ichimoku cloud's not joining me in that happy party. This is still looking super, super negative. Even on the 4-hour time frame, not getting in here to see anything yet. We do have a little cross to the positive, but if it comes up into this cloud and it's got so much that it could be going down, it really has a lot of work to do, or a crazy Bart Simpson or something like that. Let's go to the Bollinger Bands and take a look at Bitcoin. So it stayed above the midline of this, and as things were going down off of this midline of the Bollinger Bands in the trend, right? We're downtrending, and here it comes up to this and hammers down off of it. So there's something else to put into our bucket, is to have that day midline and pay attention to the 4-hour coming up and crossing across. I'm not sure how we would get the timing to know that the 4-hour is doing its thing and it's pulling back. It's starting to drop. Then to go back and look at the 1 day to see what are we doing compared to that. That'll be our assignment over the next while, to look at the 4-hour and the 1 day and put them together. So the 4-hour now, no, it's the 1 hour. The 4-hour now, well, it's so wide and down here that there's nothing for me to do on this. I'll just observe. we'll see what goes on with that. So that wraps it up here for today. I did a pre-recorded seminar session again here today, and I'll get to doing the live sessions again, but I have to repair my setup for the streaming software because that chat along the side is so useless that I have to do a different way of it. And then I'll be doing the live streams again. Wickedly appreciate you guys being here. Hope you find this helpful. I really appreciate your comments down below. Let me know your success stories. Let me know your questions, because the questions always turn into really good videos. I love questions. That'll wrap it up for today. I wish you all the best in your altcoin trading and your Bitcoin trading. Stay safe, make profits.